It's Yaddle Chattle! It's a Star Wars podcast, baby. My name is Eastside Dave McDonald. They call me David Mac. On this particular program, they call me Darth David. Because what this program is about talking the Star Wars, Daddy. It's about going through the Star Wars, talking about the galaxy, the saga, the George Lucases, the Kathleen Kennedys, the Leslie Headlands, the Jon Favreaus, the Dave Filonis, all of the creators. We got a big one. We got a Skeleton Crew episode 7 recap and review. But then we have 3, maybe 4 small little quick Star Wars news stories, but quite interesting ones, I must tell you. So you must be on the lookout for those. We're going to get into the Skeleton Crew right off the bat, and then we're going to do a little news, and then we're going to get the heck out of here, and then we're going to watch a little NFL football is what we're going to do. Okay? But let me tell you something. Skeleton Crew episode 7, another great episode. It's official. This show rocked. I don't know if it's going to get any more seasons. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of Skeleton Crew. I doubt there's going to be any kind of movie. We never got a Goonies 2. So I don't know what's going to happen with the future of Skeleton Crew, but hey, live in the moment. Robin Williams in that Dead Poet Society with the Carpe Diem. Seize the day, boys. Make the ordinary extraordinary, boys. Seize the day, Carpe Diem. And that's what we're doing. Forget about what the future of Skeleton Crew holds for us. Just concentrate on the now, and this show has been spectacular. The ratings, from what we're hearing, aren't so spectacular. And that's not Skeleton Crew's fault. We saw this exact scenario play out before when they stupidly released Solo only 5 months after The Last Jedi. And whether Last Jedi was successful or not, or good or not, or this or that, it's too quick. It was way too fast to have another big Star Wars project, another big story, so on and so forth. And as a result, Solo got hurt. Not because of Solo, but because of The Last Jedi. Same things happen here with Skeleton Crew. It was affected by the Acolyte, and that's why you can't fuck around anymore. No more fucking around with Star Wars, Bob. Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, have you learned your lesson? Because Skeleton Crew, a great show. Fun, action-packed, entertaining, good performances, logical writing. Logic from the character standpoint. People don't make just fucking crazy-ass decisions, Acolyte, out of the blue or reverse themselves time and time again, Acolyte. Instead, there's a cohesive storyline attempt here with Skeleton Crew. It's sensational. I'm not sure if enough people are watching because the Acolyte drove a ton of people away. But we're going to keep it positive. We're going to talk Skeleton Crew. Right off the bat, another excellent episode. Let's get right into it as we start the show and the parents are trying to get some little gizmo thing to float up, to shoot off of At-Aten, some sort of transmission beacon. I think they said something to that effect, or a transmitter or some kind of bullshit. Put that one out there. Maybe, hopefully the kids get a little ping. And we're off and away. Parents, not a big fan of the parents, but the good thing is, if that's my one criticism, if that's my biggest criticism, the parents have very little screen time on this show, and I'm excited. I'm happy for that. Okay, I'm glad that we're not going back to the parents multiple times per episode. We get a little parent activity at the beginning of these things. That's just fine. They're annoying to me, though. They're a little boring and a little, I don't know, like they're inept, It's just they're constantly fumbling the football. But anyway, the thing gets out. These parents start getting shot by the droids, but one of those little stun gun apparatus type moves, so none of them die, and they ultimately get that transmission thing out of that and then hopefully that thing will tell the kids where the planet is. Meanwhile, we go to the kids, and they're in a ship, and I like this. Fern was playing a little basketball, handball. What was that? It was very brief. But she was playing a little game with Neil where she slapped the ball. That kind of, it sort of sounded like it was rubber. And, Neil goes, "Nice shot, Fern." I want to know what sport they were playing. I'd like to play. Everyone knows the Dave man is an athlete. Yes, everyone knows this. Yes, everyone. I want to play Star Wars handball. Can we, learn about the rules of the game a little? I'm into it. Maybe if they need some kind of Skeleton Crew sequel, maybe it's just the whole thing is about like a handball tournament, a Star Wars handball tournament, and Neil enters. Very dodgeball-esque. That's in my mind's eye right now. I'm going to work on the script, Kathleen Kennedy. I'm sure it's going to be a hell of a lot better than anything Leslie Headland handed you. Now, so they're playing basketball, blah, blah, blah. Fern stumbles into Wim. He looks all sad. He's like, I want to go home. Once I go home, I have to take that stupid SAT test. That placement test. That's going to tell me, oh, yeah, congratulations, Wim. You're another one of the 50,000 analysts that this planet has. He's not happy. And she's like, oh, come on, it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, here come the pirates. We go to the pirate ship. Brutus, very angry at Jod. Not happy. He's this close from shooting Job out of the spaceship there. Just get him in that airlock and then shoot him. He's threatened Jod with that airlock a few times. You might want to threaten him with a sword or a gun or something. If it's the constant airlock threat, after a certain while, it's not good. My parents used to threaten me with a grounding. Well, if you're threatening me with a grounding, I'm staying home for one weekend. It's like that's not a punishment at all, Mommy. It's like I will take that punishment of staying home one weekend if this entitles me to try to jump my dirt bike over this little 8-foot ditch that I found, build a little ramp and stuff like that. If me building a homemade ramp and trying to pull a goddamn Evel Knievel over this thing is going to get me grounding, come on, lock me up and throw away the key. I'll do the time, Mama. So I'm not sure all these airlock threats by Brutus on Jod are doing the trick. Nevertheless, Jod's like they pull out and they see at Atten or what looks like what does Bruce say? He calls it a toxic. He's like, this gigantic toxic hellhole is what you brought us to? We thought this was the land of eternal treasure. This is nothing but a gaseous bunch of bullshit. Jod. That's what Brutus said. Jod's like, no, it's clearly a disguise, you stupid idiot. That's why you look like a goddamn one of those huskies. Beautiful dogs, by the way. Beautiful. But that's why you look like a husky, Brutus, and I look like a thinking, intelligent human being. Right there. For comments like that. Come on. Obviously, it's got to be hidden. No one's found this freaking planet in, 1,000 years? Come on. It's got to be hidden. It's in disguise, dummy. Duh. Hey, Brutus. Duh. That's what you get for eating rabbits 5 times a day. You walking, talking wolf son of a bitch. Try sitting down like a human. Having yourself a nice steak and potatoes for a change. Weirdo. And so what happens? Jod is in the airlock, but all of a sudden, that little old British lady goes, "Oh, Captain, We've got an incoming ship, Captain. And Jod says, that's the key. That's the key. Follow the ship. Follow that ship right there. He's right. He's right. That's the kid's ship. And he knows it. All right. So they get the tractor beam. They pull the ship in. And when they pull the ship in, Brutus, he's walking up to the ramp. And then boom! That giant claw that Wim was using earlier on in the show. Look at this. Everything tying together. Wim was using that. He loved that damn claw thing. Well, here we go. He takes the claw and he grabs Captain Brutus with it. And this was a little surprising to me. Because once Captain Brutus got grabbed in the claw, Jod just went very, very carefully and quietly over to Brutus. Took out the fucking gun and boom! I thought I was looking at a Tarantino movie. Did we even get, like, you know, how Tarantino loves... he loves shooting guys shoot people from a low angle. In other words, the actors are up there high like that. He loves that. He loves, you know... It was a very similar type of, Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. The camera's up looking at the goddamn Jod as he shoots Brutus. We didn't, I guess, see Brutus officially dead, but we have to assume he's dead. That's a little bit of a shame. Big Brutus fan. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm hoping he makes his way out of it. Give him a little machine part so that he stays alive. You know, I am Robot Brutus. You know. Make him a Lobot. Make him a cyborg, for crying out loud. We have the technology to do it. All right? Now, so Captain Silvo, Jod, Crimson Jack, Jude Law, the same guy. He kills Brutus. And that's that. Oh, then he's saying, okay, we got to figure out how to get to At, and he packs all the people on the ship, and the kids get transmissions from their parents. I felt like this was towards the end of Big Brother, the reality show on CBS, which somehow I still watch. You know, when you're like, you get to like the final four, you get messages from home, and it's always a big deal. Oh, we're going to get messages from home. It's like, they're living in comfort and money and ease in fucking Los Angeles for 2 months. They get messages home. It's like they're getting messages from, Iran hostage victims in 1979, for crying out loud. I mean, relax. You're going to see your parents, like, next week, for crying out loud. This isn't, okay, Big Brother contestants, this isn't an unlimited game show. I mean, it does end. I mean, it goes from July to September. What's the big deal? Jesus Christ, man up. Woman up, man up. Anytime you see those messages on Big Brother, oh, here come the waterworks. Oh, lots of crying. Lots and oh! Oh, I haven't seen my mom. Oh. I cry when I get too much contact from my parents, from my mommy. When she's calling me too much. David, what time and what channel are the Yankee games on? Like I'm the fucking TV guide over here. I'm telling every television, every cable package has a guide channel where you go to the damn guide and it tells you, what time the Yankees are playing. Oh, no. No, that's not how we do it in the McDonald household. Beanie Mac calls me every day. What time and what channel? I go I said, it's on Amazon Prime tonight, Mom. It's Thursday. It's on Amazon Prime tonight. You know what she says after that? She goes, okay, so is that Apple TV? I go, no. It's not Apple TV. It's Amazon Prime. It's Prime Video. Go to Prime Video. Yes, but how do I get Prime Video? Through Apple TV? I go, no. See, the crazy thing about this woman is she knows how to do the Netflix. She's understood the concept of Netflix, an online streaming app that's going to allow you to watch movies. She's been doing the Netflix successfully for 10 years. So then I go, no, it's on it's Prime Video is the Yankees tonight, Mom, like every Thursday. How do I get it? Apple TV? No, you know how Netflix works, right? It's the same concept, Mother. It's an app. It's got fuck all to do with Apple TV. It's Prime Video. What you do is you download the fucking app and you work it exactly how you would work the Netflix app. You know how to do the Netflix. Oh, I love it. The Crown. I love watching The Crown with the British and the Queen and the King. Yes, I'm familiar with the fucking royal aristocracy or whatever the goddamn shit it's called in England. I live in America, Mama. We vote for the president. We don't do no king and queen over in this country. Anyway, but if you understand the concept of Netflix, Mommy, then you would understand the concept of Prime Video. Okay, so it's similar to Netflix? Yes, it is. Okay, so how do I get it? Apple TV? I go, we're not having this discussion anymore. Anyway, the point about it is the kids get those messages from their parents, and then they're all like, oh, God, just like Big Brother. They're like, oh, now we have to get home. These messages made me feel better, and now we have to get home. Even Wim's dad softened up for a change. You know, that cold heart of Wim's father warmed up finally. And he's like, I miss you. Come home, please. And Wim's like, you know what? We got to get home. The adventure's been fun. We got to get home. And I'm with him. So, the kids, they decide that that's what they're going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's the thing that they say. You have to find a Republic emissary to help you get to Ad-Atten. Okay? A Republic emissary. So, I don't know what the hell that is. Meanwhile, hold on, there was one last thing on this page here. Okay, and it says, yes, they did another unclaimsies. Jod claimed the ship, the Onyx Cinder, but then SM-33 says you can't have multiple ships, bro. You can only claim one ship. That's the pirate code. We all know this. Come on. And that's when Fern says, unclaimsies, I claim this ship on behalf of the kids. And SM-33 went with Fern. Good stuff right there. SM-33 is going to be a good guy for the rest of the series. He's been a good guy for a while now, hasn't he? So SM, he helps the kids. Kids fly through that dangerous zone. We see the kids on the ship, on the Onyx Cinder, flying through that really dangerous, whatever this shit. It was a storm, but then all of a sudden we had these kind of like electrical, machines. What else kind of can you call them? Laser shooting, lightning activating. You think those things like controlled the weather as well, maybe? Maybe those are the things that are making the storm, that huge storm that surrounds Ad-Atten. I don't know. But something was up with those, electronic gizmos, and they've been frying any ship that tries to enter. But this ship is an Ad-Atten ship. It's not an outsider. It's not a pirate ship. It's an Ad-Atten ship. Oh, there you go. So, Jod, the ship goes through, and the kids are like, yes, we did it. We're getting home. Everything's okay. Uh-oh. And then who comes walking into the cockpit from the back? I guess he was hidden or some kind of bullshit. I don't know. But all of a sudden, because I did watch that scene a couple times, I'm like, how'd he get on that ship? But maybe I just either wasn't paying attention, even though I watched the episode 3 times, as always. One time instantly, then an instant replay, and then right before we recorded Yaddle Chattle today, I took another viewing in there. I still am confused about how Ja just appeared on the ship all of a sudden, but I guess he just stowed himself away. Regardless, Ja's on the ship, and the kid's like, oh, shit! And SM-33 is like, don't worry, I'll handle this. Ja takes out that lightsaber that he found, and boom, off with his head. He chops Jude Law chops SM-33's head off. Whoa. I was upset by that. That better not be the end of SM-33. That's the good thing about droids. Put it back together. Just put it back together. Now, that part was fantastic. The music in that part was fantastic. Great music. Really tense. Really set up the tension quite well. And then all of a sudden we go into Ad-Aden, and there's some man named the Supervisor who says, hey, work is going to be halted. A ship is entering the system. And that's when we see the ship, and it's Jod pretending to be the emissary. As those droids said, hey, okay, the Republic emissary's here. We have to take you right to the mint. Oh, my Lord. Trivia question, by the way. How many vaults are on Ad-Aten? Jod asked one of those droids. And the vault was massive. Like the Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse. Only instead of alien bodies and ancient religious supernatural items, we got gold, Daddy. We got gold upon gold upon gold, baby. Because that's what I gotta do. I'm always reaching for the gold, baby. From the top of the mountain to the bottom of the canyon, Daddy. When I go for the gold, when Dusty Rhodes goes for the gold, nothing gets in Dusty Rhodes' way. Not you, Ric Flair. Not the Four Horsemen. It's all about the gold, baby. Anyway, so he sees that. He goes, how many? You know what the droid says? Remember this number for a trivia contest. 1,139 vaults. My Lord. He sees that. He's in heaven. He's in hog heaven. Then the kids emerge. And then the parents come down. And we get a little standoff. Last thing we see is Jod with a lightsaber on one hand, and the parents and the kids on the other hand. Boom, roll credits. End of episode 7. The penultimate episode. Second to last is penultimate. We went over this last week. We're not going to do it again. Penultimate is second to last. But the penultimate episode, fantastic yet again. I dropped a piece of paper. Not a big deal, I guess. I don't know what was on that paper. It's going to remain a Yaddle Chattle mystery. Episode 107. Who knows what the shit was on the paper he dropped. But I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Now, reviews. Thumbs up. Great episode. I've at the very least liked every episode. What was the one? Episode 5, I thought, was a little bit slow. Was that episode 5? Or was that episode 4? The one where the kids, Neil was with the girl, and they're just kind of, quite truthfully, just fucking around on the planet and bullshit, and, nothing really kind of happened. But that wasn't like a terrible episode. It's just like, nothing really kind of happened in that episode. It wasn't insulting. It wasn't offensive like the worst of the Acolyte series. It was just, a ho-hum episode. But outside of that, everything else has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, it really has. And we get one more episode. And then it'll be official. We saw a really good season. Are people watching this season? I don't know. Doesn't sound like they are. I can't even get my kids to watch this show if I bribe them. I had Sith Stanley here last weekend. I said, I will make you a sundae. Look, I make a damn good sundae, but Sundays are for after dinner. I said, you'll get a very rare 3 o'clock in the afternoon sundae plus after dinner around 6 p.m. or so, a bonus Sundae. So your proper post-dinner Sundae, but then a random impromptu Sundae in the afternoon. No. And that's a problem. And we're going to have to get the people running Lucasfilm and Disney to actually look at that problem and say, okay, why is this happening? Because, like, now we're hearing, because I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy's like, wait, so people like the Skeleton Crew, yes? And yet it's still getting shitty ratings, yes. I'm sure she's like, well, what the fuck? We can't do anything right. No, that's not it, Kathy. It's that you are not allowed to make any more shitty decisions regarding Star Wars. Because when you do, it's kind of like, hey, you get the sand kicked in your face, but after a while, you're going to get up, whether the sand got kicked in your face or not, and you're going to start throwing down. The point is, okay, there was some anger and frustration when you killed off Luke Skywalker in Episode 8. And then there's some confusion about some of the shit that's going on in Ahsoka. And then there's confusion simply about the way your so-called creators are talking about Star Wars. And then there's confusion about this Rey movie and who is this director? And where's everyone coming from? And then there's confusion about Leslie Headland and where the fuck is she coming from? Well, we know Harvey Weinstein. And we're saying, what is all this bullshit? And then we're saying, hey, sorry if the reality is that Star Wars is a male-dominated demographic. Don't take my word for it. Kathleen Kennedy, the woman in charge of Star Wars, the female who is the number one most important person in Star Wars, told us this. Her quote was, it's a male-dominated franchise. And yet for a while there, it just felt like female character, just female vibe after female vibe when it comes to Star Wars, culminating in The Acolyte, the biggest, the most feminine Star Wars project we've ever seen. Look, again, if you liked it, fantastic, that's great. But it was the softest, weakest, most stupid group of Jedi who had nothing to contribute in any sort of heroic and masculine way. And let's be honest, it's become like a curse word just to be a dude, just to be masculine from time to time. We all get that toxic masculinity is bad, but just masculinity in general is bad? No, people are rejecting that. And Star Wars got left behind. Star Wars is thinking like this is the year 2017 or 16. They're so far behind and needing everything to be labeled, and everyone needs a label and this and that, and all this bullshit. It's simply about good stories. Skeleton Crew is a great story, but you've given us so much bullshit that no one asked for, and you've changed Star Wars, and then all the while, your directors and writers are sermonizing at us, are fucking on a goddamn fucking pedestal, telling us how wrong we are, and that Star Wars is no longer for you, or that if we don't fucking drastically change Star Wars, the fan base that supported it for the last 40 years, that Star Wars will die off when they do, which is what some fucking asshole, dumb moron writer said on Twitter. If Star Wars can't get past middle-aged white men, it's bound to die off when they do. She deleted the tweet, but the point was, that is how they think. And it's wrong, because as your biggest and best fan base, we happen to tell our children about it. We share the Star Wars. And it's not, forget about race, but you're right, it is for men, by and large. And that's not to say that women aren't allowed in the Star Wars club. Of course you are. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. But it's women who like a male demographic show. Nothing wrong with that. There's men who like female demographic shows. If you're a man and you like the Twilight franchise, no harm. No one's getting mad at you. No one's, oh, you're not allowed to. But we all know that the Twilight's a female franchise. We all know it. We all know that Barbie's going to be a massive female franchise, or the 50 Shades of Grey. We all know the shit that is the female-centric franchise. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with a male-centric franchise. Maybe start catering to the people, men, who've supported you forever. So Skeleton Crew's getting shitty ratings. And it's because the damage has been done by Kathleen Kennedy and a whole lot of, I hate to say this, a whole lot of ladies like Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy and the Choi lady who's doing the Ray movie that I have absolutely no faith in. Zero. So if you're upset, Disney, don't blame anybody else. And don't say, well, look, I mean, here's a Star Wars show that people are saying that was good, but people still aren't watching. Yeah, right. Like, this is the result. You don't lose audiences with one bad decision. You lose audiences with multiple bad decisions, and then you blame the audience for when you fuck up. And that's exactly what happened with The Acolyte. Every actor, writer, creator involved was, well, the fans who don't like it must have some issues. They must be bigots or sexists or something because they don't like this. No, the show sucks. So you not only make shitty decisions sometimes in Star Wars Galaxy right now, but then you fucking blame the fans for not liking the shitty drivel that you're producing. Don't you see why people have left the Star Wars Galaxy in droves? For that shit. You fucked up. You suck. You make bad stories. And then people go, well, this story sucks. Oh, you must be a bigot. So I'm just letting you know, Bob Iger. If you're wondering, well, I don't understand. They tell me The Acolyte is getting good reviews by the critics and the fans like it. Yep, Bob. This is all the fucking bullshit that Kathleen Kennedy fucking did to us. She is a fucking soft, stupid nincompoop. That's what she is. Remember when there was like a press conference? This was like 5 years ago, maybe more. I don't even remember. There was some sort of press conference, and there was a female journalist who stood up and asked Kathleen Kennedy, it's like, how come no women are creating Star Wars? Remember, this was a big controversy. Why is that a question ever? It's not. Last week, all we did was talk about Bryce Dallas Howard and how fantastic she is. You know why? Merit! It shouldn't matter what's between your legs in any shape or form. You should get projects and be the head writer or the director or the producer of projects if you're good, if the story's good, if the fucking shit has good merit, has good quality to it. That's all anyone cares about these days. All of the fucking labels, it's beyond old and antiquated to think that way. We must enter a new phase of society. And Star Wars, sadly, has been the last. Star Wars and Marvel are the last ones to enter a new phase of humanity or society in America, which is simply just judge people based on whether they're cool or not. Just judge people based on whether they're good people or not, whether they're funny or not, or creative or not, or anything. Judge people based on their personality, what they say or what they think. Everything else is complete bullshit. Who gives a fuck what someone looks like or what they have between their legs? It's irrelevant. Humans are humans. Jesus. And they ask, well, we don't understand. Well, I'll tell you what happened here. The fucking Acolyte sucked ass. And then when Star Wars fans had the audacity just to say, you know what? This really sucks ass. It's, the far right, which I'm not a member of. I fucking hate The Acolyte. I'm not a member of the far right. Any way, shape, or form. I don't put myself in the far right, the far left. I don't put myself in the far of anything. One day that shit's going to be studied. And one day someone with some balls at Star Wars is going to say, hey, you know what? We apologize for attacking the fans. We realize now that was bullshit. We're sorry. And if you didn't like The Acolyte, we hear you. We tried something new. You didn't care for it. Your opinions are on the record. We understand where you're coming from. We thought this was something new, something fresh. Obviously, it was a misstep. We appreciate your thoughts. Apologize if you didn't care for the series, but we promise we'll give you Star Wars content that you'll fall in love with. But instead it's, oh, you didn't like the show? Well, you must be a cross-burning fucking Klans member. So that's the fucking Skeleton Crew, and that's my little diatribe, which I have to do once per episode because it's depressing to me that the Acolyte, that some of Ahsoka, and that the murder of Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, it's depressing to me that these decisions keep getting made, and they're so tone deaf to the millions and millions of lifelong, decades-long Star Wars fans. You know, the people who spend thousands and thousands of dollars on Star Wars throughout the course of their life. Maybe it's not, hey, we're going to do something that's totally fucking foreign to those people. Otherwise, Star Wars is going to die off when they do. Oh, okay. Let's do a news thing or two. I thought this was interesting. There's a new Jedi comic coming out, but the article grabbed my attention. The article's from Polygon, and it's about a new comic book called Star Wars Jedi Knights. Okay, it's been created by Mark Guggenheim. And this is crazy. Listen to this. It says, writer Mark Guggenheim wanted to do something different with Star Wars Jedi Knights. Tell a story of the prequel era Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, and Mace Windu without the prequel era corruption and melees that led to their downfall. Quote, here is a quote from Mark Guggenheim. I love the idea that the Jedi are the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, but there are surprisingly few examples of that out there, mainly because the Jedi get sucked into the Clone Wars. I'm as much a fan of the Clone Wars as the next guy, but I really craved seeing the Jedi doing their thing on a non-war footing. That's the great appeal of this new Jedi Knight series. We really get a chance to see what the Jedi did before the Clone Wars and their eventual fall. It's like they fucking listened to us with that quote. And I'm going to say that's a positive sign from Disney. Positive sign. Because one of the shittiest things about The Acolyte was and there was no less than 1,000 shitty things about that terrible disaster of a show. But one of the worst offenses was this pathetic portrayal of the Jedi as weak and lame and soft. And the one Jedi who was the flight attendant, you know, asking the green lady, "Oh, Mom, I thought you get nauseous on flights. I thought you get nauseous." And she's like, "No, that just happened the one time. And it's not nauseous. It's like, I shit." Or what'd she say? It's like, ah. He's like, "Oh, Mum. Okay, Mum. Well, we're going to be having chicken tartar today. And your in-flight movie is The Bridges of Coruscant." It's beautiful. Beautiful love romantic story there. The Jedi were insanely weak, insanely soft. And everyone was saying, why would you go 100 years before Phantom Menace to show Jedi who are darker, who seem more corrupt, who seem dishonest, who seem like liars. This was the worst depiction of Jedi ever. In an era where they were supposed to be swashbuckling, fun peacekeepers. Jeez. So obviously someone on Disney probably told this guy, hey, can you do like something? What a Marvel concept. Ready? Let's show the Jedi being cool, fun, and adventurous. Wow, that's hard to... I swear to God, Disney is just fucked up. Such basic, goddamn Star Wars tenets. Show the Jedi is fucking awesome. Show the Sith is evil. Start from there. You dumb sons of bitches. That's story number one. Story number two is Steven Soderbergh, the Oscar-nominated director. Such movies as the Ocean's 11 movies, also the great film Traffic with Michael Douglas and Benicio del Toro. Great movie there. He's done a lot of great movies, this Steven Soderbergh. Well, people noticed that Steven Soderbergh, he's got a public playlist of movies where you can actually see what and when Steven Soderbergh is watching different movies and things like this. And he's friends with Tony Gilroy. In fact, Steven Soderbergh, I guess, produced Michael Clayton, which obviously Tony Gilroy directed or wrote and directed, yes, and just did an amazing job. If you like Andor, you must watch Michael Clayton. Fantastic movie. Soderbergh was a part of that. So apparently Soderbergh was checking out Andor and enjoyed that. But then, I guess Andor influenced Mr. Steven Soderbergh to go on a Star Wars run. I love it. What have I always said about Yaddle Chattle? The best Star Wars shows that have come out on Disney Plus make you want to stay on Disney Plus and check out other Star Wars stuff. Rather than, I swear to God, this is not bullshit. When The Acolyte came out, I would watch The Acolyte and literally leave Disney Plus, the entire app. Like, I stopped going to Disney Plus for a lot of months, including a lot of months following The Acolyte. After the show was ended, I just couldn't bring myself to even go to Disney Plus. It was just such a turnoff. But when Star Wars has gone well, like when the first two Mandalorian seasons came out, you know, you watch one of those episodes, you're like, oh man, I need a little more Star Wars now. Maybe I should put on a little Empire Strikes Back or some shit. That's what we're talking about. Well, that happened to Steven Soderbergh. He watched his buddy Tony Gilroy's show Andor, and then he went on to watch Phantom Menace, Episode 1. Attack of the Clones, Episode 2. Then he went to Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. Then Empire Strikes Back. Then he watched A New Hope. Then Revenge of the Sith. Then back to Attack of the Clones. And back to The Phantom Menace. So he watched episodes 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Steven Soderbergh going on a Star Wars run. This has gotten some people percolating. Do you think Steven Soderbergh's not doing a Star Wars, is he? That would be very, very interesting. I love the Ocean's 11 movies. The first one was the best, but I actually like Ocean's 12 and 13. That first one was great. Traffic is a fantastic movie as well. He's done other good stuff too. So this Soderbergh, what did he do? Aaron Brockovich? That's him, right? He's done a bunch of good stuff. Big time movies. Could they be giving a Star Wars project to Steven Soderbergh? I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm just letting you know. That popped up on my radar. Now, James Mangold has had a massive hit with this Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown. And so now he's everywhere, and he's telling people, yep, 25, I'm still doing the Star Wars, 25,000 years is what it is set before Episode 1, A Phantom Menace. You know why he said it? Because of the lore. He says, I got to get away from the lore. He says, too many Star Wars fans that give you bullshit when you fuck up the lore. Yeah, I guess that's true. Ask Leslie Edlin about that. So that's good. Finally, Baylan Skoll. They've announced the replacement for Ray Stevenson, sadly, who died. What a performance Ray Stevenson gave as Baylan Skoll in season 1 of Ahsoka. He was wonderful. I think one of the highlights of the entire series from an acting standpoint. They have replaced, but unfortunately he died. He passed away. That sucks. He did such a good job. They have replaced Ray Stevenson with Rory McCann. If you are unfamiliar with the name, he played Sir Sandor the Hound in Game of Thrones. The knight who was huge with his face all fucked up. Because didn't he had an older brother that, put his face to the fire or something? Remember, he had epic fights with Arya Stark, so on and so forth. The Hound. The Hound is going to be the new Baylan Skoll. You know what? Sort of like it. Love the Game of Thrones. So when they gave me, when they said the Hound from Game of Thrones is doing Baylan Skoll, I go, I like it. I was going big and saying Russell Crowe because he looks like Ray Stevenson to me. And I know that's pretty fucking huge to go Russell Crowe for a Star Wars series. But again, you lure him with, hey, Russell, this isn't just a series on the old Disney Plus. We're going to be making movies with a lot of these characters. I'm just letting you know. But if we can't get Russell Crowe, Rory McCann, the Hound from Game of Thrones, I like it. Good choice. And I'll do it. Okay, that's the end of Yaddle Chattle today. Now, we got a lot of things to do, like I said. A lot of things need to be done. Specifically, I need to buy a sandwich and some chips for the football. Okay. And I'm out of soda pop. And here's the bottom line. I'm going to give you something very, very shocking, very controversial. I like going to the store. I like getting a little thing of Coca-Cola. I prefer the minis now. The 10-ouncers, the minis. I don't know how, why. When the minis first came out, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is like a fucking thistle. A thistle of goddamn soda pop. I can't possibly. What is this? Now, I prefer the minis. I just think, And then I have a water next to it. So it ends up making me drink more water. Maybe that's what it is. But I realized I don't need all that soda. I like a little taste of the soda. Like with a piece of pizza or something like that. But I don't need to be swimming in fucking soda. I don't need to fill up my goddamn swimming pool with Pepsi. I just need the little taste with your pizza items, your hamburgers, certain food items. So that's what I have to do. I have to go get a little case of mini Cokes, and I think I'm out of chips, okay? Listen, we got one more Skeleton Crew. One more Yaddle Chattle covering Skeleton Crew. And then we'll be taking off until the next Star Wars project with some random episodes here and there, probably if there's any breaking news, like Kathleen Kennedy getting fired. Wouldn't that be amazing? But outside of that, this is Yaddle Chattle is a post-show show. Okay? Hey, listen. Thank you, Yaddleheads. I love you. You people are fantastic. Go enjoy Skeleton Crew season finale next Tuesday, and we'll talk about it next week. I love you. I'm Darth David. Good night.